Welcome back to the LSE IT Corner. As we have left off, we installed our VS FTP daemon and configured everything and made sure everything is working. And we found out that the server here was running out of memory and had a couple OOM-Kills. As you can see, there was an OOM-Kill here, and there was another OOM-Kill here. In this case, it was our PHP and also our MariaDB, which failed. And we only have 1 GB of RAM in it, but we don't expect anything in high memory intensity running on this server. It's just static pages, nothing fancy. So what we can do, since we have a lot of availability on the hard drive, as you can see, we have 15 gigabytes available, close to 16. We can use some of that to alleviate the need of more RAM and just say, okay, we can save here a buck or two a month. So let's do this in this quick video where we can say, hey, we're looking at it, and this is a different server where I did this. So what we can do is we can actually see if there is anything on the swap side already there, right? So we go back and take a look at it, and we have no swap configured. Most modern servers running now on SSD drives, so they are very fast, very similar fast in speed as the RAM itself. So moving something into the disk space is not really an issue anymore. Back in the day when we had spinning hard drives where the head had to move a lot, it was a whole different ballgame. But now with the SSDs, it's very easy. So what we can do here is we're looking at it. We see we have some free space. So now let's allocate us a little bit. So we have plenty free. So we say we want to do quickly with file or FAL locate -L. We create a file in main root. So if we go up here and now look at it, down here you see already there's a swap file now created, which we have just created. And that one is supposed to be 5 GB big, but when we look at it in detail, oh yeah, it's created, but it's not further initiated. So what we need to do next is we're looking at it, then we change the configuration of it, meaning the user right, so that it is no longer a 644. Instead, we just want to have it for root and nothing else. So when we go back at it now, you can see only root, not even the root group, only the root user really has access to it. So that's the most and proper secure way. Then we can now say, okay, we want to make this file into a swap file from the format. So we create this. Now we created it as a usable swap file, and we have it actually also labeled with a UUID, which is important. So keep that in mind here. Now the next thing is we're gonna turn this on so that we can actually directly use it. So you don't have to reboot your server. So with swap on, it's now on. And as you have seen in the previous video, when we look into htop, there was 0, right? So if we now do an htop, now we're gonna look already here. It says 5 GB are there, but nothing is in use. So the file is there, it's created. Now we have to make sure that it was actually created correctly. So we should see that there is something now being created as a swap. As you can see, now it's correctly on. When we earlier looked for it and we looked up on show, we didn't see anything. Now we are down here and we see that we have actually created a file which is 5 GB big. That's plenty of gigabyte space. But now we have to make sure, okay, do we have enough disk space still available? We already knew from the start we have. And now it also says here, oh, okay, we have, right, memory, and also we have now swap available. So we have 1 gig of real memory and 5 gig of swap memory available, which is great. But in order to make it correctly stick, we have to go into the FS tab and actually make it reboot resistant. so that it also gets mounted each time we rebooting the server. So the way we can do it is just simply with this command. I'll explain some of that here in a second. So you define, similar as we do here up front, where you define your file, the disk, or your partition, whatever you want to call it. But in this case, it's a drive really, and the drive is mounted as such. And then you say what type it is, next 4, and then you want to give it the options and the dump and the pass. So for our case, we need to have it as swap file defined, which is matching. We don't map it anywhere to a drive to be mountable. Instead, we classify it as, instead of an X4, we define it as a swap. And instead of defaults, we give it the flag for swap, which is SW, and then leave the other flags completely unset. But with this, we have now the function in place, and it is reboot resistant. So as you can see now, we did a little bit on that server, and we did a couple things, but we're using 348 megabyte right now, which is right where my mouse is over here. And we have no load going on, but we have a couple of things going on. And now we have also the swap file available, and out of the 5 gigabyte, nothing is being used. So when we go in here and we start working around, we're trying to do plugins, we try to see if something can be updated, if we want to add something, um, we can do so, and we'll go into that in depth in the next couple of videos. But those applications, they start to use memory, right? So here's your web page, and you're looking at it, and you're looking at this here. So this produces a little bit of a load, but as you can see, not enough to actually get something hurt or to the point that anything would kill itself again on running out of memory. So this is the easy way where we can cheat or shortcut or use a cheaper version of RAM pretty much as a swap, and just outsource applications which are loaded but are not really required to run currently in memory. Like the database is running, but we don't have all that in use at all times. Same as with web server, same as with the PHP, right? So that can be from the system side automatically outsourced, so to speak, from the memory and then offloaded into the swap. Does it slow down your system? Yeah, a little bit, but it's so minute now these days with SSDs that you can really forget about it. So that's a short video about this. And now you have a swap. And when you do a reboot, even on that server, it will be permanently there, automatically mapped and everything. Just make sure you don't delete the file, otherwise you have to recreate it. Again, those notes will be later on this same server also being posted so that you can access it, download it, and copy and paste it over. But again, the commands are relatively simple. I scrolled them up and a little bit out here, but you can pretty much take a screenshot of this note here, and you know your cheat sheet how to actually quickly start and configure your swap. And depending on how much you need, you can either define more than 5 gig or less. I prefer to use 5 gig as a starter. And if I need another 5 gig, I just either upgrade, or when it's in the server already running and I can't really reboot it because it's in production, I just create a second swap file and just hot mount it to it. As you can see, it's already there. I don't have to do anything, and it's in use. So again, there you can see it's running right now. I'm using 490 megabyte right now, 138 are free, but I'm not using anything on the swap side yet. So thanks again. Please like and subscribe these videos. I keep them coming. As I see things, I just create them quickly so that you all can learn from what I learned over 20 years being in IT, and share this with you guys so that you guys can quickly advance in your career. And also for people which are in the career and they have a bigger portfolio like I do, it's a quick, hey, how was it? How did I do this? This is what these videos are for. So it's an easy way also to re-go back and look at it. And that was it. Thanks again for watching. Have a blessed day.